Hi everyone, my name's Emily. Thank you for clicking onto my video. If you're new here, hi, welcome. And if you're one of my true ones, welcome back. This will be my setting for the crime videos. It's a bit boring now, but you know, I'll spruce it up in due course. Today's case is of 11-year-old Carlie Brucia, who had not only her innocence, but her life stolen from her. Let's just jump into it. 11-year-old Carlie Brucia went missing on the 1st of February 2004. She was staying at her friend Danielle's house the day before Super Bowl Sunday. Carlie said that she didn't want to miss the start of Super Bowl Sunday, so she told her friend's mum that it was okay for her to walk the mile trip home. Her friend's mum had rang Carlie's mum, Susan, and had told her that Carlie was walking home. Her mum had thanked her and sent her stepdad Stephen to go out and find Carlie. He tried the normal route that Carlie would have taken to walk home, but he couldn't find her. He was in constant contact with Carlie's mum, saying that he couldn't find her. So she started to panic, and her mum phoned Carlie's friends and family to see if she'd been seen by them. She then quickly phoned the police to say that she was missing, where they immediately issued a bolo. They went door to door, street to street, trying to find her. Investigators had hopes that she'd turn up to school the next day. But when the next day came and she didn't show, the police decided to get out the bloodhounds to pick up the last place that Carlie was using her pillowcase. The bloodhounds had picked up a scent of Carlie near and around the car wash. Evidence had shown that she had cut across the car park to get to the shortcut to get home quicker, basically. Police had gone around asking business owners if they'd seen anything and realised that the car wash had had CCTV, so they asked the owner to have a look, which he was more than happy to help. They went through the CCTV, and at 6:21 p.m, CCTV had captured Carlie walking past, but not only walking past, it caught her abduction. A stocky man in a grey mechanics type uniform had approached Carlie. He looked like he was threatening her, and then they both walked off in the same direction that he came from, holding on to her. Police had interviewed quite a few people and came up empty-handed, but 2 days after her disappearance, police had a call that broke the case wide open, and the caller had been Joseph Smith's business partner. He had recognised him instantly just by the way that he walked, and by his name tag. He knew that it said Joe. Police had tried to make out the name on the badge. They knew it had 3 letters, but didn't know what letters. Police then started to look at CCTV for Joseph's brown Lincoln and started around about 6:18 p.m. There was no sign of his car. They came across a light tan station wagon, but wasn't able to make out the licence plate. To be fair, I'm probably assuming because it's rubbish quality back then, but you know, hey ho, you deal with what you deal with. They started to keep an eye out on this car. Meanwhile, Detective Davis and 2 others went straight over to his home and asked him where he was Super Bowl Sunday. He said he was with his landlord Mimi. He was also shown a picture of himself abducting Carlie. His response was, "It looks like me, but it's not me." Yeah, of course. I mean, who else is it gonna be? Detectives then asked to look about his home and his car. He was being completely cooperative with police, and if just like magic and almost right on cue, Mimi, Joseph's landlord, his alibi, walked through the door where detectives seized their opportunity and asked her a few questions. She started off by saying that Joseph was home from 3 p.m. to half-time during the Super Bowl. She then goes on to say that Joseph's wife called, and she called out saying that the phone's for you, to which he did respond. With his alibi completely confirmed by Mimi, detectives cleared Joseph as a suspect. But with drugs found in his car, he was arrested for violating his parole. Yeah, that's what you get, I suppose. 2 days later, Jeff Pinkers, who is Mimi's husband, turned up to talk to detectives, and to their surprise, he drove there in a light tan station wagon. He explained to detectives that his wife was confused about the whole ordeal, and that her focus was solely on her grandson that day, and had actually not known the whereabouts of Joe. He went on to say that Joe had approached him and asked him to borrow his car. Jeff asked, "How long are you going to be?" and Joe said 15 minutes. Joe then left in Jeff's car wearing his grey mechanic's uniform. Joe had asked this at about 3 p.m, clearly after the phone call with his wife. Joe didn't turn back up 15 minutes later. In fact, he didn't show back up until 7:30 the following Monday morning. Jeff knew that something had gone on in his car. His back seats had been laid down and things just didn't seem right. Stuff was out of place. Jeff just had this really bad gut feeling that something wasn't right. And then he started to see the news about Carlie. And hats off to you, Jeff Pincus, because if it wasn't for you telling investigators that you had this gut instinct, how many years would he have got away with doing this to unsuspecting girls? Joseph was then detectives' main suspect, with now no alibi. With Joseph being in custody for violating his parole, detectives brought him down for an interview where he was read his rights. He had no intention of telling detectives anything and asked for a lawyer almost immediately. Although Joseph wasn't talking to detectives, he couldn't keep himself from bragging to his brother. And again, hats off to him, because he went straight to the police and told them exactly what his brother had said. Just a trigger warning, this next bit contains sexual assault and violence, so there's something that you'd rather not listen to than skip probably about 10, maybe 20 seconds. He told them that Joseph had sexually battered Carlie and strangled her to death using a ligature of some sort. He also told them where she had been left. She was in the woods behind the church. They went straight down there and found 11-year-old Carlie Brucia. The search for Carlie was over, but the justice for her was just about to be delivered. Joseph Smith was convicted of kidnapping, sexual battery on a child under the age of 12, and first-degree murder. Just putting it out there, Joseph had 3 daughters himself. How he'd even do this without a second thought is just beyond me. Although there was video evidence of him abducting her, this didn't actually prove that he sexually assaulted and killed Carlie. But the DNA evidence that he left all over Carlie's shirt did. He was sentenced to die for his crimes back in March 2006, but in July 2017 his death sentence was overturned, as at the time it was a 10-2 decision on the death penalty and not a unanimous decision. However, this little slime ball didn't get away with it, because in 2020 his death sentence was reinstated due to the attorney's office filing a motion for him to receive what he should have received in the first place. While awaiting his execution, on the 26th of July 2021, Joseph Smith was found dead in his cell. His cause of death is yet to be released. I'm glad he got his just desserts, to be honest with you. It's just sad it took so long for Carlie to get the justice. And I hope that Carlie Brucia rests in eternal peace. Sadly, Susan, Carlie's mum, never got over the heartbreak of losing her daughter. After Carlie's death, her mum started to rely a lot more on drugs to deal with the reality. Carlie's disappearance wasn't the only thing Susan had to deal with. Shortly after Carlie's abduction, Susan's mum had passed away, and then her brother had died in a car accident. Her father had died. Her son had got seriously injured after being run over by a drunk driver. This is just too much for one person to handle in such a short space of time. But although she tried her hardest to get on with life, she too sadly died on the 10th of April at the young age of 47. Susan died through suspected drug overdose. And what a sad case that this was. It's involved a lot of heartache and pain for this poor family. I just hope they are all at peace now. And that's the end of today's case, guys. What's your thoughts? What's your opinions? Tell me down in the comment box down below. But before you go, I just wanted to thank you. If you've reached this far in the video, I just want to thank you for your support. It's been a few weeks, months since I've posted, but life isn't always rainbows and sunshines, but I have got a lot more in store for you guys. So if this interests you, keep an eye out. But until next time, I'm going to love you and leave you. Bye!